Hey guys, welcome to the MTB Garage. My name is Sean. In today's video, we're going to be doing a three-way pedal shootout to figure out which pedal is best for mountain biking. Flat pedals, clipless, or magnetic. That's right, I said magnetic. Before we get into the video, don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about future content. And if you want to support the channel, we have a new MTB Garage merch store up and running now. You can pick up some really great merch like this sweatshirt here. The link is down in the description and it really helps us to put out more awesome MTB content. So I'm sure most of you are familiar with flat and clipless pedals, but I bet that most of you have not heard of magnetic pedals. These are made by a company called Maglock, and they use a series of magnets inside of the pedal to attach to a metal bar that screws into the bottom of your shoe. I think the idea is pretty cool, and I've never tried them before, so we're going to put them head to head against clipless and flat pedals to see how they do. I'm actually going to be comparing all three pedals today. We're going to go over the pros and cons of each one, and by the end of the video, we should hopefully have a clear winner for the best mountain biking pedal. So the first pedal that we're going to be taking a look at today is flat pedals. Flat pedals are any pedal that has a large surface area that your foot just sits right on top of and doesn't actually connect to. Flats are usually made out of metal or some sort of composite plastic material, and plastic pedals are generally more affordable. While it's hard to beat the price point of plastic pedals, they aren't quite as durable in the long term as metal. That's not to say that plastic pedals aren't strong, but generally metal can take more of a beating. One of the great things about flat pedals is that you don't necessarily need special shoes to run them. You can just use any sort of skate shoe or running shoe and those will work fine, although it does help to have a mountain biking specific shoe. I'm currently running these Ride Concepts Helion shoes. They're different from running shoes or a skate shoe in the sense that they have better toe protection, they're more durable and rugged, and most importantly, they have a soft rubber sole that really helps adhere to the pedals. I'm also a huge fan of 510 shoes, specifically the Freerider and the Freerider Pro. Now, I personally prefer to run flat pedals the majority of the time. I feel like they give me more confidence because I know that I always have a bailout option. Whenever I'm going downhill, if I make a mistake, biff a corner, or get buck wild through a rock garden, I know that I can always put a foot down just to rebalance myself. I personally believe that if you're a beginner or just getting into mountain biking, flat pedals is the way to go. Mountain biking is a difficult sport and there's a steep learning curve when you're getting started. So running flat pedals makes things less complicated and removes one more variable that you have to think about while riding. Some of my favorite flat pedals include anything from 1UP components. They come in aluminum and composite, as well as the Kona Wawa 2s, which come in aluminum and composite, and also the Crank Brothers mallet. The things that I look for in a good flat pedal are surface area, overall thickness, and weight. I find that the best flat pedals with a large surface area are pretty thin and are not overly heavy. My favorite right now are these 1UP composite pedals, so let's throw them on the bike and head out on a test ride. Alright guys, so I got the flat pedals on the hardtail here. We're out at Laguna Coast Wilderness today. We're riding the Lizard Trail. Now this is the perfect loop to do on this bike. We've got a good technical descent at the start, and then it moves into this really flowy descent through the trees, and then another climb to get back out. So we finished up the downhill and we are moving on to the climb. While we are heading back up the hill, let's recap on the pros and cons of flat pedals. For the pros, flat pedals are great for beginners, confident when descending, and you're less likely to fall. For the cons, they are not the most efficient, and you rarely have a consistent foot position on the pedals. Alright, so we're done with flats. Next up in the pedal shootout is going to be clipless pedals. Now, clipless pedals are different from flats in the sense that your feet actually connect to them instead of just resting on top. This happens via a cleat that's connected to the bottom of your shoe that clips into a mechanism on the pedal. So my go-to shoe for clipping in is going to be the 510 Impact. These are basically just a flat-soled clip-in shoe, which really makes it easy for me to go between flats and clips. So like I said earlier, if you're a beginner, I recommend sticking to flat pedals and avoiding clipping in. If you're a novice and want to try clipless pedals, Shimano makes a great option for this. It's called the Clicker. It has a really low spring tension on it, which makes it easy to get in and out. When you're first starting out with clips, you're definitely going to fall. Even seasoned riders from time to time will come to a stop and forget that they're clipped in and end up just falling over. So be prepared. I highly recommend riding around a grass field when you first get your clipless pedals and practice clipping in and out. When you get more comfortable using them, you'll start to appreciate the pedaling efficiency that they provide. This is because you have the ability to generate power on the upstroke as well as the downstroke. Another benefit to riding clipped in is this idea of connectivity to your bike. What I'm referring to here is when you're clipped in, you actually have more influence over where the bike goes, how it moves, because you're actually physically connected to your bike. I find that on fast, flowy, and technical descents, I actually ride better clipped in. On the other hand though, if it starts to get steep or chunky, I start to lose confidence and actually end up going slower. So on my full suspension bike, I pretty much just ride flats, and on my hardtail here, I actually exclusively ride clipped in. This is because as you're going down the trail on a hardtail, you tend to bounce around a lot more, and as a result, your feet can fly off, and so being clipped in makes it a lot more comfortable to ride. So let's throw some clipless pedals on the bike and go do another test lap. The downhill is done and we're heading back up, so let's go over the pros and cons list for the clipless pedals. In the pros column, they are very efficient, you are very well connected to your bike, and your foot position is in the same spot every time. For the cons, they require special shoes, you are more prone to falling, and they can be less confidence inspiring on the descents. Alright, so the final pedal that we're going to be comparing today is the Maglock pedal. I actually just recently discovered these and I was so intrigued that I ended up just buying a pair. I actually took advantage of their demo program, which allows you to try them out for 6 months. If you like them, you can keep them, and if not, you can send them back for a full refund. So at first glance, these look like a normal set of flat pedals, but if you look inside of them, you can see a bunch of magnets, and those are meant to stick to this cleat that attaches to the bottom of your shoe. Now, luckily, these are just normal cleat screws, so they'll fit onto any clip-in shoe, which is a nice feature. So I don't have any real experience yet with these pedals, but I do have a few initial thoughts that I want to talk about. The first thing that I noticed is that the magnets inside are really strong. I made the mistake of putting this cleat onto the pedal before installing it on the shoe, and this thing got really stuck on there. I ended up having to pry the thing off with channel lock pliers, and that actually gives me a little bit of confidence in these pedals. The other thing that I noticed is that they're really heavy. This is a normal flat pedal here, and it weighs 214 grams. If I put this guy on here, 500 grams, so twice as much as a normal pedal. Because they're designed like a flat pedal, I recommend using a shoe like the 510 Impact here because they have the flat sole and good rubber to grip. If you're using more of a cross-country style shoe, I don't think it has the right amount of grip, and I think your foot's gonna slide around all over the place. So I'm gonna go out and do the test loop first and then give you guys the rundown on these pedals. Like I said, I don't have any experience with them, so we're gonna ride first and then talk about them. All right, so we finished up the last downhill for the day. We're heading up on the climb. Give you my impressions here. These pedals definitely feel nice and comfortable like a set of flat pedals, but I do feel like I'm gaining some efficiency from being attached to them via the magnets. They definitely kind of have that clip-in feel to them where you get power on the upstroke, but I don't feel like I'm locked in though, which is a good confidence boost for me and kind of makes it a little bit easier to use these. So that's it, guys. The test riding is done and the results are in. I hold here in my hand the answer to the question, which pedal is best for mountain biking? Cue the suspenseful music. We started this shootout with the tried and true flat pedal. These are great for beginners and experienced downhillers alike, but are not the most efficient of the group. Next, we moved to the clipless pedal. Lots of pedaling efficiency and good connectivity with the bike, but these are less confidence inspiring on descents. And finally, the Maglock pedal. These have a solid and natural flat pedal feel with the added efficiency similar to the clips, but are very heavy for a bike pedal weighing in at over 2 pounds for the set. And the winner is... none of them. That's right. All of these pedals are a great option. Whether you're doing cross-country riding, downhilling, whether you're a beginner or a really experienced rider, whatever pedal fits you the best and is most comfortable to you is the one that you should use. Even though we didn't actually pick a winner here today, I hope this video was at least informative and maybe you learned a thing or two. If you dig the channel, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon to get notified about future content. If you want to support the channel, head over to the MTB Garage merch store. The link is in the description. Pick yourself up a t-shirt, sweatshirt, or even a fanny pack. There's all kinds of great stuff on there. Thanks for watching, and let's ride again next week.